So Cyclone Ditwah has caused big damage in Sri Lanka. Nearly 159 people are dead, over 200 are missing. The country, in fact, is grappling with one of its worst weather disasters in years. I'm joined now by Namini Vijayadesa. She's the deputy editor with the Sunday Times in Sri Lanka. She's based out of Colombo. Namini, what can you tell us about the situation in Sri Lanka right now?
Actually, the situation is very bad, and the death toll is now closer to 200. The latest update was that 193 have been killed, and still more than nearly 250 missing. And this number is likely to rise because it is not known how many people are still trapped under landslides. So landslides has been the biggest problem that we faced during this cyclone. Much of the central province is smattered. It's basically most of the road infrastructure is destroyed. The rescuers and relief workers are finding it extremely difficult to reach the people who need them. Bodies have not been unearthed yet. Sometimes in some villages, even the people of that village are unsure how many are missing right now. So this is a disaster of extremely large proportions. And right now, as we speak, there's another disaster unfolding in the eastern province where one of the irrigation tanks the anecut has burst, and it's flooding an entire village in the eastern province. And so the Air Force is involved in evacuating people, Air Force and Navy. In Colombo, at present, in outskirts and suburbs of Colombo, there's another flood situation as the water from the highlands has started moving to the south. Water levels in certain areas of the Colombo suburbs are rising. So we are a long way from settled. The immediate danger is still not settled.
Well, Namini, also because the state of emergency has been announced by the Sri Lankan government, there are also some officials saying that about a third of the country, is without electricity or running water. That is also a big concern and a crisis.
Yes, many parts of the country are without electricity and water, the point is that it is not known how soon they will be able to work in order to restore these basic facilities. Another massive problem that we are facing is lack of communication. So this is most of the cell phone towers are down, landlines are not working. So there are still pockets of Sri Lanka where communication is a big problem. And everyone's working round the clock to get things back to well, it's not going to be normal for a long time, but back to at least working situation. But the point is that everyone is stretched so wide and broadly because the disaster is spread so far. So it's a huge challenge right now.
Also, I believe the highest number of deaths have been reported from Kandy and Badulash, and these areas remain cut off for some days now.
Kandy, actually, I think the main road will be cleared as soon as they can handle it. But there are lots of areas of Badulla and Norelia district, for instance, which are cut off. Like pockets of areas are cut off because if you look at some of the footage coming out of these areas, entire roads have either just fallen away or just been buried under mounds and mounds of earth and rocks and boulders. So it is a very big problem because accessibility and communication. So getting food to these people. And in the coming weeks, some of the local authorities say they will probably face a water crisis and also a food crisis because most of the areas where food was being produced, paddy fields, vegetable plots, all of them are underwater or buried under earth.
Well, India has also dispatched humanitarian relief aid to Sri Lanka. Two transport aircraft from the Indian Air Force have delivered relief material. The Indian Navy also, handing over relief material. The INS Vikrant was there near to Sri Lanka, and it has rushed relief supplies there. Specialized disaster response teams also there. Do you think this is the help which is much needed in Sri Lanka, which India is offering?
It was extremely well received in Sri Lanka by all the people, and I mean, they were almost spontaneous. I don't think that they even needed to be asked in so much in so many words. They came forward and they helped with much of the material, and they even gave rescue support. They were seen rescuing people who were trapped in the floods. So this was very much appreciated on the ground.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope Sri Lanka recovers soon from this tragedy. Thank you so much for joining us from Colombo, Namini.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.